If you're a regular at a local gym and tried a couple of diets, you've probably heard someone say that they've done intermittent fasting. But what is intermittent fasting? Is it even a diet? And if not, what is it? In this video, I'm going to be talking about what intermittent fasting is, what the benefits are, why I chose to do it, how you can start implementing it into your life, and at the end, I'll give you some tips and tricks to make it easier for you. Let's go. Welcome back to the Esoteric channel. My name is Kayvon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. So I personally discovered intermittent fasting a couple years back when I started college. I wanted to get a six-pack for the first time in my life, and I was having a really hard time doing that. So I was looking for anything to give me the edge to get there faster. I'm not exactly sure how I stumbled upon this, but I found this site called leangains.com by Martin Burkhan, and it completely changed my life. I read a couple articles about what intermittent fasting was, how to do it, and because of that, I was able to get the six-pack for my first time in my life in 23 years. I wasn't ever able to do that until I found it. And ever since then, I use it anytime I try to diet down and lose weight. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Let's get into it. So what exactly is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting has been gaining a lot of popularity lately, but it's not a new diet trend. It's actually been around for a long time. It's been used since the dawn of time. Animals use it. We as humans used it before we had fast food and groceries and all these kind of things. I believe that the reason it's gaining so much traction right now is because of a lot of celebrity endorsements like Terry Crew and stuff like that, but also because there's been a lot of studies that have proven the benefits of intermittent fasting, which I am down with. I'm down with anyone getting healthier and living a happier life, so I'm all about sharing this information with people. So intermittent fasting is not a diet. You're not worried about what you're eating, although you should still eat healthy. It actually has more to do with when you're eating and what time frame you're eating. So there are a lot of different styles of intermittent fasting out there, but the one that I found that I've been using ever since I found it that helped me get my six-pack was the 16-8 method. So basically you fast for 16 hours of the day, and then you get an 8-hour feeding window where you get to eat. So during those 16 hours, you eat nothing. And then during that 8-hour feeding window, you eat your normal amount of food. Now, a lot of people do this naturally without even notice. Have you ever had an early dinner, went to bed, maybe slept 10 hours, woke up in the morning and weren't that hungry, so you didn't eat till 12? Or you just did intermittent fasting. It's as simple as that, but some people, for some reason, try to make it way more complicated than it needs to be. So now let's talk about why I chose to do intermittent fasting and what the benefits are if you choose to do it. So the reason we kind of went over a little bit is that I want to get a six-pack, but it goes deeper than that. When I was younger, I was overweight. I've always struggled with food my whole life. My parents gave me a lot of candy and they let me have fast food, and I don't blame them whatsoever. I just love food, so I was always wanting to eat more. I always wanted to eat more. And, I became overweight. I was partying a lot when I was younger. I was drinking, I was eating bad, and I came overweight. And, one day I snapped out of it and I decided, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. And that's when things got really hard because, I didn't really know how to do that. I learned about nutrition, I learned about calorie deficits and macros and all that. But there was all these weird diets out there, like low carb diet, low fat diet, 6 meals a day diet. And I would try them all out. And, they would work for a little while, but after a while, I would be hungry and it wouldn't feel satisfying. I wouldn't be full, so I would end up overeating and gaining all the weight back. And it was a constant battle of gaining all the weight and having to lose it again. So luckily I found intermittent fasting, and another thing to note is that I went to college to get my exercise and wellness degree, and that whole 6 meals a day thing is complete, excuse my language, bullshit. There's no real scientific basis to that. A lot of people tell me, well, you eat 6 meals a day, it revs up your metabolism, but your body doesn't work like that. Your body doesn't care whether you eat 2,000 calories in one meal or 2,000 calories in 6 meals. Every food has a certain amount of heat that your body has to produce to get rid of it, and it doesn't change whether or not you eat it 6 times a day or in once. That's why people say that, but it's completely untrue. So like I said, I found intermittent fasting and it changed my life. Using intermittent fasting, I was able to get that six pack, I was able to get in really good shape. And you can do that too. And there's a lot of health benefits to do intermittent fasting besides just losing weight. You can actually use it for gaining muscle. You can actually use it for maintenance. You can use it for just improving your overall life and making more time for yourself. See, when you don't have to eat in the morning, you no longer have to think about breakfast. You no longer have to think about getting ready and having to get your breakfast before you go to work. You have that extra 15 to 20, 30, 45. I don't know how long it takes you to make breakfast, but you get the point. You get that extra time to do things you need to do. You can sleep in a little bit later. You can wake up and read the book you wanted to read. And you don't have to think so much. Another great benefit is, when it comes to fat loss and muscle retention, it helps a lot. It releases HGH, increases HGH, which increases fat loss and also increases muscle retention. So you simultaneously can lose fat and gain muscle on an IF diet. I know that contradicts everything that fitness people say and everything you learn in school, but the truth is it works. I have done it. I've had other people do it. I have lost weight and gained strength in my bench press, my squat, my deadlifts. You can do that. It's possible. Another great thing about intermittent fasting, it actually helps you live longer. See, when we starve ourselves, our body naturally finds ways to extend our life. I know that sounds a little extreme, but just remember you're only starving yourself for a little bit of times to gain a whole lot of benefit. It's definitely worth it. Another great thing about intermittent fasting is it helps you look younger, and that's because it reduces oxidative stress. And what that does is it prevents you from aging faster. It helps your skin cells look younger and all these things, It reduces insulin levels. It reduces inflammation, so you recover fast from workouts. And all these combined are actually really good for your mental health because, your brain gets inflamed. Insulin levels mess with your brain. Sugar messes with your brain. Oxidative stress messes with your brain. So when all of these are being reduced, you have better mental health. And I found that when I'm in a fasted state, I am more focused, I am more clear, I'm able to remember better. So it's really, really helpful. Another thing to note is that when you're constantly eating, your body is constantly digesting food. It doesn't have time to do other things. You only have so much energy. So when you give your body a break, you allow your body to use that energy that it normally would be using for digesting to help with other things like clearing your skin, for recovering faster from a workout, and all these other things. So there's a lot of benefits to doing intermittent fasting. Losing weight and being on a diet was just one of them. So the last benefit I'm going to talk about has to do with, calories and losing weight, because that's why I found intermittent fasting. That's what helped me get my six pack, and all the other benefits are great and I love it. But the reason I use it is because of this. So, basically you have a smaller time frame to eat, right? So you have an 8-hour window instead of a 10 or 12 or 14-hour window. And what that does is that instead of having, on a diet, let's say you're on a 2,300 calorie diet, instead of having 2,300 calories spread out on 14 hours, you have to use that now in 8 hours. So you have more calories, or same amount of calories in less amount of time. So that allows you to have bigger meals. And that's when you get to feel full and feel more satisfied. You no longer really feel like you're dieting. And that's the best part about it, is that you get to have big meals with your family, like the sweet potato, that rice, all the carbs you've been eating in the morning, you can't have any at night. You don't have to do that. You just eat normal food in a short amount of time and you get to experience all the wonderful benefits. So now that you learned about all the benefits, what intermittent fasting is, you're probably wondering, how do I start doing that now? And like I said, it's really easy. It's simple. You fast for 16 hours and you eat for 8. People try to make it sound a lot more complex than it needs to be, but that's what it is. You fast for 16 hours and you eat for 8. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how do I fast for 16 hours? That's a really long time. Well, just remember that you sleep for 6 to 8 hours a day, and that counts towards your fast. So all you really need to do is stop eating 3 to 4 hours before you sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, wait 3 to 4 hours after that. And that way you'll be hitting a 16-hour fast. And just know that you don't have to start off at a 16-hour fast right away. If you feel like that's a little too long, start with 10, start with 12, start with 13. Do what works for you, you know. Stop eating 2 hours before you go to bed. You know, sleep that 7, 8 hours. And then when you wake up, wait 2 hours. Now you're hitting a 12-hour fast. And over time, slowly start extending, you know. In the morning, wait an extra 30 minutes. You know, start eating, you know, a little bit before you go to bed. Instead of 2 hours, eat 3 hours before. And before you know it, you'll be doing a 16-hour, 18, 20-hour fast, no problem. So when it comes to dieting with intermittent fasting, it's actually really simple as well. So if, let's say you're on a 2,000 calorie diet and you fast and you break your fast at 2 p.m. and you plan on finishing at 10 p.m. So I like to eat about 40% of my calories in the beginning. You can do whatever you like. This is just what works for me. So that's about 800 calories. I have my first meal. You know, 3-4 hours later, I'll have an apple or a banana. And then I'll have my last meal be about 1,200 calories. And that's 2,000 calories. And the great thing about that is that if you're eating mostly healthy foods, you know, foods that are filling, you know, high protein, you know, good carbs, sweet potatoes, rice, things that make you full, you're gonna go to bed feeling satisfied, feeling so good. You're gonna feel like you're not even dieting. It's gonna be so easy. In fact, when I first started doing it, I was losing weight too fast because it was hard for me to eat all the food that I needed to do. Granted, if you're gonna eat fast food like, you know, donuts and ice cream, you're gonna easily be able to go over your calories. And I'm not saying don't eat those foods. I'm just saying that the way this works is that you need to choose the foods that are the most satisfying in those 8-hour windows, because I've had 6,000 calories in 2 hours before. I know what's possible. So think smart if you want to lose weight. But, you know, have that pizza if you like. You know, if it's your cheat day and you have 2,700 calories in an intermittent fasting diet, think about what you could do with that in an 8-hour span. You could have a really healthy lunch, have that apple banana night, and you have 1,500 calories left over. Go get that In-N-Out. Go get that pizza. Live life. The whole point of this diet is to make it easier for you. So lastly, some tips and tricks to help you along the way. I really wish I knew these. I mean, I found out about some over time, but they really, really helped me with my diet to stick with it. So first thing first is black coffee. When I wake up in the morning, you know, 45 minutes, an hour into it, maybe right away, I like to make myself a black coffee. And coffee, what that does is it stunts your hunger, it blunts your hunger. And it also gives you increased energy, increased focus, and gives you something to sip on. Make sure it's black. You're not adding, you know, creamer and sugar unless you're using stevia, because you don't want the added calories, because that might break your fast. Another thing you could do is drink sparkling water. So, you know, maybe after I've had 1 or 2 coffees, I might drink sparkling water because I don't want to overdo my caffeine, you know. And with sparkling water, it's great because you can add flavor. You can add 0-calorie flavoring. You can add lime juice, maybe a splash cranberry. Again, not too much. You don't want to break your fast. And it also blunts your hunger and it gives you something to taste. Now, there's some people out there that probably are thinking 16 hours, that's crazy. I can't do that. Before you tell yourself no, try this out. You know, when you get to the point where you feel like you need to eat, go grab a banana or an apple and just snack on a piece of fruit or two. What that does, it'll hold you off before you end your fast. And the good thing about doing that is that when you eat like fruits, when you're in a fasted state, it's actually really good for your body because that sugar goes right away to replace the glycogen stores in your body. And since you have no other food that mixes with the acid in the base of the fruit, your body gets to absorb all the nutrients of the fruit and really get to use it to help your body out. So that's it for intermittent fasting. I really hope you guys liked this video and you found it helpful. If you do, subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more videos to help you live an extraordinary life. If you really like this video, press like. If you didn't, press dislike. If you have any comments, any questions, anything you want to share, put them in the comments. If you have anything you want to share with me personally, you can email me. My email is in the description. I hope to see you guys soon. Peace.